Diabetes is rapidly spreading in Southeast Asia as people embrace American fast food, such as hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries, pizza, you name it. A study finds that more Chinese adults who live in Singapore are dying of heart disease and developing type 2 diabetes than ever before. Researchers from the University of Minnesota School of Public Health and the National University of Singapore reported in the journal Circulation. The researchers found that Chinese adults who live in Singapore and consume American-style foods on an average of, say, twice a week, had a 56% higher risk of dying from heart disease and a 27% greater chance of developing type 2 diabetes compared to their counterparts who never ate the American-style junk foods. Those who ate fast foods at least 4 times per week were 80% more likely to die from coronary heart disease. Researchers used a questionnaire constructed specifically to identify the types of foods consumed by the Asian population. They were looking for 165 different food items that are commonly eaten. 6 main fast food items, French fries, pizza, deep fried chicken, hot dogs, hamburgers, and cheeseburgers were all included, as well as other fast food sandwiches. That kind of sounds like my diet sometimes. But anyway, Western or North American style fast foods are considered to be unhealthy due to the high content of refined carbohydrates, processed meat, and fats. The portions are often large and high in sodium and cholesterol. Those found to be eating these kinds of foods showed a reduced intake of vegetables, dairy, rice, carbohydrates, and dietary fiber. But to their credit, they were educated, smoked less, and were more likely to be physically active. This profile obviously makes them less likely to have high blood pressure, but nonetheless, this kind of diet doesn't bode well later in life, increasing the risk of cardiovascular problems and type 2 diabetes, among other problems. Lead author Andrew Odegaard, PhD, said that research indicated that more attention was needed to understand the changes in diet and habits as different cultures interact more with each other. It's clear that the increasing obesity in Southeast Asia is a product of diet and lifestyle, and concerns are mounting about looming health implications for future generations. And some predict an avalanche of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular problems over the next few decades. Clearly, this problem is not confined to Americans. It's simply a question of culture and dietary habits that can weigh heavily on the health. Now, new research suggests that the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and heart disease for South Asians are just starting to begin at birth now. So the research from the South American Birth Cohort Study, which is START, published online in the International Journal of Obesity, is significant because it suggests South Asian women who minimize their risk of gestational diabetes and avoid excessive weight gain in pregnancy may help to prevent diabetes in their own children. So South American pregnant women should be considered high risk for gestational diabetes and routinely screened in pregnancy. This was stated by Sonia Anand, the principal investigator and professor of medicine and epidemiology and heart and stroke chair in population health research at the Michael G. DeGroot School of Medicine at McMaster University. Prevention may be an important way to break the transmission among generations. In addition, our research re-emphasizes the importance of diabetes prevention efforts in South Asians from early childhood onwards. In order to reduce the mental burden of diabetes and cardiovascular disease in South Asian adults, we should start to minimize our intake of these foods. Now, those found to be increasing the intake of vegetables, dairy, rice, carbohydrates, and such, and smoking less and becoming more physically active make them less likely to have blood pressure, and diabetes. So, in closing, I urge you to change your habits from some of the things that you see here. Oh, there we are. You consume these kinds of things. And I am guilty of doing that myself. I'm diabetic. I've been guilty of doing that myself. But you have to consider the changes that it creates in your body. And our American habits have been forced on, not necessarily forced, but we present these foods to them, we tempt them with these foods, we open up these places in their countries. So they're in a hurry. They have this desire to become Americanized. So they've developed a lot of our unhealthy habits. So in closing, I urge all of our South American, Asian friends to be careful, to watch your diet. Don't be so anxious to adopt the American habit of junk food and fast food. You must consider the long-term bad health, and the burdens that you could be passing on to your children. So I suggest happy eating, but eat healthy. Dr. Nettie, I want to thank you for a wonderful term. I didn't know how this was going to work, but you've done a wonderful job. You don't know what you've done for my confidence in speaking now. I don't know what I would have done without you and these wonderful guys who have filmed these speeches for me. I'd like to thank you and thank them. Thank you.